Hi, my name is Gordon White and welcome to Understanding Layers in Photoshop Elements. In this first video we're going to just give you a quick overview of the layer palette and how they work. So let's start off by having a look at the layer palette. You can see that we've got 4 separate layers there. That consists of the background layer here and 3 shapes, 3 different coloured squares, sorry. As you can see here in the background layer it's locked. The reason they do this is it's to protect the original image. What a lot of people do is they duplicate the original. In this particular case, with it being a white background, it's not really relevant, but later on in this series of videos we'll show you that it's quite a useful thing to get into doing. So let's start off by having a little look. We'll select the move tool and we can see we've got the background layer and then 3 more layers on top. A useful thing to get involved in doing is to start naming these layers. This makes it just a little bit easier to identify the layers on the image. So for instance, we've got a blue layer here highlighted. Now to rename this, you simply put your cursor over the name. In this case it's a shape 1, double click, and now we can rename that particular layer. We do the same over here. You can see when you click on the layer that the actual part of this image on this overall image is highlighted. Now you can basically see that these layers are stacked, this being the initial layer, which is the background, with the blue being the next one, red and black. And these can be manipulated in a variety of different ways, which we'll go into. You can turn the visibility off of any of these ones just by selecting the eye there. You can see that the red square's gone, and you can turn it back on. Turn the blue one off and back on. But to give you a better idea of how the layers are stacked, if we start off with the blue layer, we'll just move this somewhere and then we'll go to the red, and then if we just lay that on top of the blue, you can see that the black's still showing over it because the black's above it. So moving this around over here, the black will cover the blue and the red and the background. And that tallies up with the order of the palette. If you want to move any of these layers, so say we wanted to move this blue layer in front of the red and black, we can do that by the arrange icon, or we can simply just click and hold and drag up. You can either drop it off there where the line's slightly thickened, or you can take it right up. So there we have the blue right to the top now. What we'll do now is we'll open another image and we'll show you how to add some text and adding new layers and deleting layers. Here we have an image of a flower, and this has been brought straight into Photoshop Elements and it's been made into the background layer, which is locked. So as we said before, doing any edits to this now is actually editing on the original. So if you were to save this now, you wouldn't be able to go back and edit the original image. So that's not the way you do it. The way you would do it is if you wanted to colour in, for example, you would select create a new layer which goes on top of this layer, and it's a transparent layer. Now making any changes to this image, whatever it may be, we're just using this as an example, is actually being drawn onto the layer above, which means if you save this file as a PSD file, you're going to be able to reopen this in time with these layers intact and edit this transparent layer above to remove the drawings that you've done onto the flower, which obviously means we've got the original still intact. To delete this layer, there's a few ways of doing this. We can go into the layer menu at the top there and select delete from there. We can right click and select delete layer. With the layer highlighted, we can just select the trash can, or we can just drag it straight down onto this. If you wanted to add some text, just select the text. Straight away that creates a new text layer where we can add some text. Selecting the move tool will allow us to move it around, resize, and all of this is being done just to the text layer which is above this layer here. Again, we can turn off the visibility and on. So we could try a few different looks, different text fonts and what have you, and just keep turning the visibility on and off just to see which one you like. In the next video we'll go into more detail regarding the blend modes, opacity and some of these icons down the bottom. See you then.